to episode 27 of The Knitters Are Here. And we just would like to welcome back all of our returning viewers and welcome to all the new viewers out there. We're excited that you could join us today. And we're a knitting podcast out of Northeast Ohio. And right now we are snug and warm inside because it is, wow, okay, we're at 19 now, but I don't think that's the current feels like temperature. This morning at 7:30 when I headed out, it was 1 below. So I know some of you are probably experiencing more frigid temperatures, less frigid temperatures, but we hope you're all doing well this winter. It's finally here. We finally got snow here. And now that it's so cold, it's not melting. Right. So it's great. It's a winter wonderland for sure. So there's your weather report for January 22nd. Oh, wait, is this 22, 20? No, it's in February. 2/22/22. I don't know. Right. Sorry. My brain just
Remind me
somewhere.
of the day when it happened.
Yeah, those number things are always so fun. But our last episode, we were at Harps and Thistles, so we were on location. Today, we were just going to share with you some of the projects we've been working on, some future projects, and some things that we've purchased. So we're just gonna, any other news that we need to share or anything before we hop in?
So we were knitting.
All right, no, it's January. We're not heading to a walk.
No.
But we do have something fun coming up. So, all right, Darcy, I'm gonna just throw it down to you.
What am I doing?
Oh, wait a second. Since it's kind of all right here, how about if we talk about our New Year's Eve cast on? We did the Leftover City Cow by. I don't see who it's by. Usually they have it written at the bottom.
Mine's in a pile here.
Okay.
Read the pattern and it doesn't say.
It does. It's right there on the top.
Right there.
Oh, I didn't print the first page.
Casey Hurley? Casey Hurley?
Yeah, so
Hurley
we started
or
this.
something.
Yeah.
We started this New Year's Eve, and it's on our Facebook page. And we posted on Instagram, and it was on our Ravelry page. I don't know how much. I haven't looked at Ravelry to see how many people logged in or not.
Joined us, but we got together back in November, I think it was, and we all swapped different yarns.
Yeah, we
And-
brought like leftover fingerings with us and
Because it's a leftover city cow, so we decided to just use what we had instead of.
And nobody bought anything, right?
Nope.
Which is super impressive because we knew we were going to do this pattern.
For us, that's super impressive.
Yes. And when we were at Young's, we knew this is what we were going to do. And oh my gosh, all of us, I think, had picked up mini packages, especially at Macmillan Fiber Co. It's just, she had so many different mini packages, and we saw some at all the other booths too. And I feel it was you, Allison, that kept reminding us.
Leftover.
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 It's in the name.
But these would be so pretty.
Like, but it
So
was.
you could use up to 9 colors, but as few as 3.
Yeah.
And
So we all have
did different things.
our leftover city cows.
Yay!
Let's show them closer.
I'm seeing some of my ends pop out.
I love the fact that I can see my yarn on someone's.
Yes.
And you see your yarn on mine,
And then
and
we
the
had
detail in Jen's. I love I can actually see the pattern there.
This is
Jen.
Darcy's.
I love
So
Darcy.
pretty.
Yours just reminds me of that perfect woodsy cabin with a nice coffee
And Darcy and I had shared this color and then managed to run out.
Yeah, so on the bottom I ran out, because I was going to mimic what I did on the cast-on side, but because I ran out, so I just finished with another creamy white
Which
that I
think
happen to have.
looks awesome.
Yeah,
And, since I ran out, I just didn't do
and I really like that you
this
used
solid portion,
3 colors.
and I only used 3
repeat.
colors.
Yeah.
I really like that.
And for me, I was really worried about that green stripe when I hit it because it just felt so different than the others. But it's right in the middle.
And it works so well, though.
It's
It does.
And I
pull
have a
the
yellow
circle.
winter coat, and this actually goes really nice with it.
And this is
And I
crystals.
really like the rusty,
yes.
that orange and the red together. That's really working good.
And I did all solids, and others did where
Like a speckle
there
in
was
the
some
solids.
speckles. Yes.
So all in all, I really liked
looks
this
the same.
pattern.
It does almost
Oh my
look the same.
gosh, my cow looks like, I had no idea.
Oh, I noticed that when you posted the picture.
It looks
yeah.
very similar.
I'm like,
I
didn't realize she had picked the
and
same
I'm terrible
colors.
about that. When I see a sweater in a color, I'm like, I have to knit it in that color.
What's that
I didn't
expression about?
try to.
Sincerest form of flattery is
Yeah,
copy?
Imitation, yeah.
My husband says it's money, but you know.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That kind of just
yeah,
blew
yeah.
my mind a little.
So this was like your green.
yeah, and then you got the red. Like if I hold it that way.
Yeah. Wow.
That's kind of creepy.
Well, and I did manage to, in the color work, I know that when I knit, what was the sweater that we did last year?
Metropolis.
Yes.
No,
The
the year
Novelli-
before
no,
that. Novelli.
Novelli.
So in the color work in the Novelli, I ended up, because I'm a thrower, dropping one, picking up the other, and throwing it. Well, this time I didn't want to do that. I wanted to really try to be more efficient so I could just keep flowing instead of letting go and picking up. So I knit one strand of color Continental and the other one English. And so then after a while I'm like, I feel like a robot because my hands are going like this. And I had a bracelet on that kept going ting, 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 ting. And my husband's like, what is that noise? How do you make noise while you're knitting? I'm like, I don't know, but I feel like a machine. And it's really kind of cool.
I know that morning on New Year's Day, I sat down and I had the TV and I was watching a new podcast called Knitting Traditions, and she was talking about holding the color work in one hand, both strands, and I'm like, okay, well then it kept slipping, and so I put a thick ring on this finger which kind of held the one yarn below, and it's just, by the end, like I was worried that my gauge would be off because I was so cumbersome at the beginning, but by the end I was like, oh my gosh, I really like being able to hold the two in one hand.
Yeah.
And then you hold them both in the same
I
hand,
do,
but
yes. But I put one strand in here and one strand over here and just kind of twist it around. But I can't do that with one hand, one color. Only with two.
And I do throwing with it in one hand, using a finger for one and just my normal throwing for the other.
crazy.
So there's so many different, we each do a different way.
And I know there are people who do two in the left hand,
Wow.
continental style from the
Yeah.
left hand.
Yeah, that's
And I think
That's
actually for
cheating, yeah.
twisting your yarns, it's easier if you're knitting in the continental style, either in two hands or in one hand.
To not
But-
twist it?
You know how
To
you should.
interlock the
Oh,
colors so
gotcha.
they
Yeah, we didn't
Okay.
have to because we
Flow,
only
okay,
did
yeah.
we only did one and one,
Yeah,
so
so
we
that
didn't
makes
have
me
to.
wonder, what does the inside of yours all look like? Since we
Oh,
used
I
a
never-
different method, what does the inside then appear to be?
Looks pretty much the same, I guess.
Yeah.
Because we're only doing one and one, so there's no catching the.
Yeah.
There's no like major
the float. Yeah,
okay.
right.
But it does look nice.
I
on
do. I
the
really
reverse
kind of
side,
like
too.
the reverse of mine because it's like now I can see there's a differentiation in the color because of the way the knitting. There's a stripe,
pearl bumps.
the pearl bumps,
Right.
and so it's like a completely different cowl inside out. If I didn't have ends that I don't weave in.
All right. You have any other
We
finished
love-
objects?
Finished objects?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So when we were at Harps and Thistles, I picked up some yarn and we got this pattern. Somebody pronounce it for me.
Musselburgh?
Okay.
Musselburgh. Musselburgh.
So I was trying to find a way to knit a hat for
You see
my
the name
husband.
here.
And I wanted something that was
Oh, it's you sold a teague.
And how many times has this project, at least on Ravelry, you looked it up? It was like over 5,000.
Oh, it was like
Oh.
4,800, so it's close to 5,000.
And those are the people who actually report their projects on Ravelry.
Right.
You can only imagine how often this pattern's been.
So I bought this red, which is, what is this?
Woolfolk?
Oh, Blue Sky Fibers, 100% wool. And so I bought this while we were there, and I started knitting it in front of him. So everywhere we went, I was not knitting on this hat. And then it was like 2 days or 3 days after Christmas, I finally finished it, and I folded it like this, and I went up to him and I said, Merry Christmas, and I handed it to him. He's like, what? That's for me? You've been knitting on this in front of me all this whole time. Is that what it is? A hat? I didn't know. I'm like, it's for you. So yeah, it's a hat that's 2 in 1. And what did they say about this? That's a World War II era pattern. That typically the ends would have been blunt, and they would have used it as a scarf if they weren't using it as a hat.
Ah.
So that's my finished object. So that.
It's a great red too.
And it's nice and warm.
And then
And
my,
this is worsted weight, and
This
it can
one
be
is
done
worsted.
in any weight.
yeah, so you can do any weight. It's all just based on your gauge. So it doesn't even
it
give you
back
a
in.
needle size, right? You just,
Yeah, you choose the needle you're comfortable with, the yarn you're comfortable with.
And the size.
After so many inches
like an
in,
inch in, you measure your gauge, and then
Yeah.
that's how you determine what size you end up making.
and
Yeah.
it ends up being like 4 layers thick on the ears.
Yeah.
Which is great. And it goes to extra large, so it would fit most guys too.
Yep.
Or my big head.
Yeah, I love it. So I'm gonna make myself one, and you can wear it slouchy or folded. And he says it's very, very, very warm. So the last couple days where it's been really, really cold, he's been wearing it a lot. So,
Sorry, Frank, I'm wearing your hat.
and then it's really funny because we were watching the Matrix, the new Matrix, and Neo is actually wearing this hat. Slouchy,
yeah.
in the slouchy
I'll watch when-
version.
I'll
Yeah.
watch
This color too, or?
It's like a deep mauve, like a
Ah.
maroon, burgundy. But so
you're on the cutting edge there.
I'm on the
of
cutting
fashion.
edge, yeah. So they're so fun to knit, and they're quick and easy. It's like you can take it anywhere. You can knit without looking, and so yeah, it's on my needles
They
to make
can knit
1,000 of
without
them.
looking.
Yeah.
I look.
Oh, we got
Yeah.
little bitty
So the
things.
other finished object I have are these little. I was stash busting, and I was trying to find things to just use up stash. And because of the color this is, I'm like, well, no adult will probably want to wear it unless it's a stripe in something. So I tried out this new pattern. So these
Give you one so I don't hold
are
the other.
These are cute.
called First Baby Booties.
Very cute.
And it's by, my eyes can't see it. They're so cute. And there's no seaming, which is why I picked it, because it's, you cast on, cast off. There is no, I don't have to sew anything together. It's just all in, it's
So you just pick up, like,
you just pick up around the edges and you just work a new way.
Oh, good.
So you start at the cuff and you finish at the heel.
this is so
It was the
stinking
easiest
cute.
pattern. It is so cute. They knit up so quick.
Oh, did you wanna?
No,
So-
sorry.
And what
Yeah.
is it called again? First Baby
First Baby Booties, and it looks like the company name is Woolture, Woolture. Then it says Bicea NV Estate. But so Woolture is the company.
And the pattern itself is really explanatory about, it has pictures in there to show you where it means
That's
to pick
what she
things
made
up and how to
Is
pick
this
them
why
up.
you made them? Because there's a cup of
'Cause there's a
coffee in the
cup of
picture?
No, I picked this one because there is no seaming. I didn't have to sew the bottom together like I've had to do
And
on a
seams
couple
are
other-
uncomfortable in socks, right?
Yeah, and it's just, it's cute.
Little babies can't tell you.
And I think it required originally, because I knit this in a blue. No, I knit this in a blue, and I sent it to my sister whose friend just had a baby. And I knit that one in 1x1 rib, which I think I preferred. Just aesthetically, 1x1 versus 2x2.
Okay.
It just was cuter in my mind. So those are my FOs. That's it. That's all I got.
Okay.
Crystal?
So my FO is the shawl that you've all seen me working on. I actually wore it when we were at Harps and Thistles, but I don't think I wore it on camera. So,
Wow. That's the one that was in that big bowl that was changing color on its own?
Yes.
I love
There's
the eyelet pattern.
3 skeins of that in here.
Wow.
And I just let it stripe itself.
And I like how
Let
it
me take it
ended
to
on
the
this
camera
little
because
tiny
I don't think you
blue
see the
row.
eyelets otherwise.
I like the edged blue
Yes.
single little row. Yeah.
I
It turned out
that
really
it's
nice. I was really
thick
pleased with it.
and warm.
Yeah.
But the colors just scream like
Summer and
like
bright.
sunset.
Yeah, like tropical.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know I have posted it on Instagram with the pattern name and designer and everything. I think it's the Sidewalk shawl or something like that. And it was originally a show pattern, so that for a show that didn't happen during COVID. So she gave the pattern away, but
Oh.
it's really comfortable
I like
and
it.
pretty and squishy.
Yeah.
And it was very easy.
What was the weight of yarn of this again? Do you remember?
This is a DK.
DK. Okay.
Oh, it is? It
No.
looks like it's chunky.
That really, wow.
That's what the.
Did you hold them
label says.
double?
No.
Wow, that's really thick then.
What size
it's all
needle
I was
is
gonna
it?
say the needle
The
size.
needles, yeah.
8 or 9.
Yeah,
But
that's
even
why it
the
came out so
individual-
big.
I think an 8.
Okay. Yeah, because this
Are
is
you a
worse
tight
than a
knitter?
7.
Kind of.
Okay.
A little bit.
Cool.
Not
Just
not
because she
like.
snugs down every,
Yeah, I snug down every
To
stitch.
make sure every stitch is nice and tight.
and they're all,
Uniform.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Okay.
I've been wearing it under my my winter coat because scarves are nice, but you have to
Yeah.
And I can just put this and then zip it up, and it's
Oh,
been
yeah.
kind of toasty.
Cool.
Nice.
Okay.
What do you got, Jen?
Back at Thanksgiving, a family at school had gifted me Wool in the Gang.
Yes.
So I knit the Felix.
How did you get people to know to buy you those presents?
Our school is fantastic. The room parents did this probably about 15 years ago. I've been there 25 years, but about 15 years ago, they asked us to fill this thing out called Our Favorite Things.
Oh.
And it asks hobbies, restaurants, favorite store,
what a great idea.
Yeah.
Adult beverage, hot beverage. I mean, it's like, I put down bourbon. At the end of every school year, I get a really nice bottle of bourbon. It's like, if you ask, I'm going to tell you. And it's like, okay.
Advanced planning prevents disappointment.
That's
Your
right.
child will pass. We don't
No,
grade.
no, that's
we
not
don't
true.
grade. And so she knew that, I put on there that I like to knit, and the children know I like to knit because there's a
Because
little.
you wear all these
I
knit
do wear
sweaters.
my
Do
knits.
some little projects too
Yes,
to work
we
on
finger knitting
knitting.
and all that. And there's a little girl in my class whose grandmother lives in India, and that child, every sweater she wears is her grandmother's. And I had her older sister, so I'm now seeing them a second time. So I keep saying, as soon as Grandma comes from India, you're calling me. I'm coming over. We're knitting together because these are really detailed sweaters. They're
Yeah.
gorgeous. So this family for Thanksgiving and Christmas bought some wool. It's the merino alpaca blend.
Yes.
And it's a bulky weight, and I wasn't sure what to knit with it, and I want to knit. So I felt kind of rushed into this pattern, but I'm glad I did it. I mean, it's a very plain pattern. It's
But I like the little detail on the edge.
The pinky sweater that I have that I made
Yeah.
out of the Luft is
Okay.
the same one. So I actually knit it
Okay.
again because it was
And that was
such
the
an easy-
Felix, right?
Yes, this
Felix.
is Felix
And
by
on
Amy
the-
Christoffers.
On the pink one, you don't, because it's so lofty, you
Yeah.
don't really catch all the detail there in the sleeve.
But I did wear it on Friday, and I've already shaved it once, but it does pill. Yeah, so I'm not sure just if it's the way it was twisted that it's just, I don't know.
Huh.
But
see.
it's cozy.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll stop peeling at some point.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
And it's like when I knit it, it was really tight, and I'm like, oh, should I not have gone down a needle size? Because I always do, because I'm a loose knitter. And which I found out it's because I'm a continental knitter. I'm like, okay, that explains it. And I washed it, and I had it on the drying rack. And my cat had a very unhealthy relationship with a
Yes.
wet merino alpaca sweater. She was laying underneath the little rack, pulling it down, and I'm like, no.
Oh my gosh. I thought you meant on top, but you mean that she was like
yeah,
this.
she was trying to pull it down, and I'm like the wet animal smell, and it was funny because and then I washed my Christmas sweater that I made. I was terrified to wash it because it was in another episode at Harps and Thistles, red with white flecks.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose
that
the white.
red.
I'm gonna lose the white. I had my little color strip.
Yes.
Washed them both, didn't bleed at all, and that's
Awesome.
shepherd's wool, which they're no longer going to be
Yeah.
making it.
Oh, they're not?
They are going to be making it, just not in the same way. You're not the
Okay.
dyer. I believe how I read that is that the dyer is not going to be there. So until they get a new,
Okay.
they're not going to do wholesale orders. You can get it from them directly, but you can't do big
Okay.
wholesale orders
'Cause
anymore.
I'm really pleased with. I have 2 sweaters out of shepherd's wool, and I really like it. And I'm like, no. But so I have this, and then I had made a sweater for a friend of mine. It was a Weasley sweater.
Yes.
And I ended up buying way too much yarn for that. So I had some left over, and Dave, World War II pattern, wanted a vest. So this is the World War II American Red Cross vest pattern.
Oh, cool.
And
Is it out of that pattern book that you and I were getting a kick out of?
so possibly.
Look like chainmail armor.
Possibly.
Yeah, we showed that on an earlier episode.
But this is the first time I ever knit anything like this. Like, you started in the back, so you were knitting and purling, and then you got to the shoulder, and then you knit one side, and then you knit the other side, then you brought it together, and then you finished the front, and you seamed it. I'm like, Allison totally knows what this is. But I'm like, what is going on with this pattern? But
So it wasn't very obvious as you were knitting the pattern what was happening?
did I pre-read the pattern?
Oh, you don't
No,
pre-read.
I just
Okay.
thought, oh, we're gonna knit a front, we're gonna knit a back, and we're gonna slap them together.
Yeah.
Okay, but you didn't have to seam the shoulders.
No.
Right.
Okay.
No.
So what did you do then? Like bind off?
No, you
for
just
the-
keep going.
You put them on hold. Yeah, so like these were on hold, and you go
Yeah, but-
down, you put those on hold, and you go down, and then you pick
You
them
have
up.
a bunch of stitches across the back there.
So yeah,
So when you do you
pearl
have to
knit,
like
pearl?
Let's hold it up so people can.
Yeah, so that was just
so do you have to decrease then to
There were some-
decrease the amount for the shoulders?
There were some
and then
decreases.
re-increase in
Yes.
the front once
And
you
then
got through the V.
Do
Yeah.
one side at a time here
Yeah.
until you
Okay.
get to the V.
But I have to go back. I'm gonna have him try this on again because it's just a little too wide for him.
him.
So I'm just gonna seam it a little tighter down the side. If I ever make it again for him, because he does like it. He wants one in green. That I would make the smaller size.
Oh, okay.
What did you make this out of?
Well, this is just Big Twist from Joanne.
Yeah.
Because the lady that I made the sweater for, she's like, I want it washable. I don't want something I have to think about.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I then, oh, did I bring that too? Where did I put it? So I must have really bought a lot of yarn because then I had enough left over.
Oh, hi.
I made a skirt. So, yeah.
Cute.
I didn't want to buy yarn to make the skirt because I thought, what if I don't do it right?
Did you put an elastic
Yep.
in there? Wow!
Yep, it's got elastic in there. But once again, it's like even acrylic yarn. Just I wore it once, and I washed it last night, and
In the pilling.
it's already pilling and kind of balling.
But it's the same yarn.
Same yarn as this, but it was super easy because let me find the side seam. Like it was, you would increase ever so often and then just go straight down. So, because you had made a skirt once, I'm like, I love that idea. And I thought, and once again, I'm trying to use up what I
wear over
have in
leggings
there.
would be great.
Yes, my bum was warm
Yes.
all day long. All day long.
So if you decide to make a skirt, I found that it's really best if you use something that you can knit tightly because you will get kind of a butt bulge.
Yeah.
Even
I'll get a
wool
huge
or
butt
acrylic, but
bulge.
at least the acrylic you can put it in the dryer and it's gonna
Yeah.
go.
And she
back.
did recommend like knit tighter.
Yeah.
Definitely knit tighter. This is the pattern, it is called West Village Skirt by Selma Insalu. She has a podcast, but I can't remember the name of her
Yeah.
podcast. She's
And
Canadian.
if you can put either a simple little lining or something in it, that helps too because it will catch between your legs.
Ah.
Oh, that would annoy
you
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
As
mine-
my
So I had
thighs
made
rub
my
together.
skirt for a running skirt, not realizing that it was gonna catch between my legs. So then I ended up just putting a little plain panel in the front,
Yeah.
and it stopped it doing that.
Of what? Like
Like
silk?
lining material or
Lining
something.
material? Okay.
I
Nothing
have
fancy at all.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a pair of bloomers. It's a slip, but
There you
it's-
go.
They're shorts, but
Yeah.
it's made of slip material, and that's
Yeah.
what I wore
That would do.
underneath it.
That would be great.
Yeah. And then my daughter-in-law asked me to make a cupcake hat for a friend of theirs who's getting ready to have a baby, and that was it was kind of a combination. The picture she showed me, and I'm like, I don't need to buy a pattern for this. I can figure this out. So I found a free pattern on Ravelry about
That's
the
why
ribbing,
I bought
just to
a
get
blanket pattern. Because I wasn't gonna figure that out.
yeah. So I knew how many to cast on, and it felt like it was going to be really big, but I guess because of the ribbing, it's not so much. But then there's a hat called the worm or the worm.
Yeah.
And then I
I
just
just say it looks
figured
like the
that
worm.
out. Yeah.
So, this would make a really cute tea cozy.
Yes! Actually, I
For
have
like a coffee pot.
Now I
kind of
finally
thing.
figured out what that was reminding me of. I
Yeah.
have 2 tea cozy knitting books, and that is something
okay.
that's
Yeah,
Yeah.
we used to do a very traditional one. It was like this,
Yep.
but then had some kind of something ribbing in between.
Yeah.
But with those rolls
I'll
like
have to get
that.
those books back out because I've made a tea cozy for our teapot at home that we
Yeah.
use.
I love tea
all the
cozies.
time.
Not that I
Yeah.
use them anymore, but
I still use ours.
there's so many cute tea cozy patterns.
Yes,
There are.
I'll have to bring those books so you can see them. Yeah.
But I think I liked navy. Everything
I think
was
so.
navy.
Yeah,
That was your theme. That was
right.
your winter theme.
So I think that's all for me.
That's all for you. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you got, Allison?
Oh, well,
Are we
okay.
still in camera over
You haven't
there?
shown
Oh,
this
yeah, you
yet, though,
guys
have you?
scooch back in a little. Oh yeah, how's your?
Say what?
Have you done?
Oh, the
Oh, I'm
chain.
still working on it.
Oh,
Okay.
So it's your whip.
So,
It's a whip.
oh, this is called the Pretty,
We got it at. You got the pattern when we were at Pittsburgh, right?
right,
Oh,
but,
she's got it right here.
oh good. It's a very simple name.
Treasure goddess.
Yeah.
Yes, fancy ribbed cowl.
Fancy Red Cow, and it was Crystal who inspired me to do this. So you're using two different needle sizes with a very simple twisted rib, and it ends up looking different on each side, but both sides look waffly. And I used up a DK from my stash. This is the Blue Brick Escarpment DK.
Oh.
And however,
I still haven't used that.
I know, I still need to use
However,
used
Crystal,
mine.
when you see crystals, it's much nicer. Crystal used a pink glittery fingering,
Yes, I'm
and it
using
makes it
yes.
so fairy-like.
Yes.
It looks really nice.
Shimmery.
Yeah, so
That's so pretty. Though.
I like what Crystal's going to come out with.
It looks nice
much
though with
better.
the colors.
I like
Yeah.
the
But,
color break.
I mean, I'm not unhappy with it. I just think that the fingering probably would have suited better, but it's great
And that
for
was-
stash buster.
That was DK, right?
This
That
is
was-
DK. The
yes.
fingering
Yeah.
pattern I think called for casting on 63 or
Right,
69
63.
stitches, so I
63.
cast on 45 just to
Did you
make up the difference in the gauge.
Did you use the whole skein?
Yes,
Okay.
whole skein, yeah.
Cool.
So that was
Very
that one.
squishy.
So I'm wearing a finished object. This is called Bellevue, and I have it here somewhere. By Robin Melanson. Anyway, this is just a big, comfy, very textured sweater.
That is fantastic.
And this was in the
Very
undyed Yakagani Aran tweed, Highland tweed, and it just came out really nice. If you follow our Facebook page, you'll see that I posted on there that I didn't do a proper blocking, and so it's stretched.
Shocking from her.
It's stretched down like this, and I found my armholes were down to.
How did you fix that?
So I just ripped back this like about 2.5 inches.
Okay.
Got that up where it belonged. But it did mean that my crossover thing came up too. Because this was supposed to be down here, which I liked, but oh well, I was too lazy to go back and redo that.
That looks
But
like
I
it's
like
in the right
where
place.
where it is. It
Yeah,
looks
see
correct.
how that's where the pattern shows.
Yeah.
Oh.
But anyway, this is a very waffly knit.
I love the
I love the Yakagani tweed,
She
which
has
I
nice yarn.
Uh-huh.
think I mentioned before.
Oh.
So that came out pretty well. And the last couple FOs I've actually worn on earlier podcasts, but we didn't talk about them.
This was the wool that I was really hoping you'd never like, and you'd come
Yes.
to us, and we
Me
were gonna have to have like a
too.
lottery system in order to see who got this.
Yes.
Man, she knit this up right away.
That's the BFL,
I
isn't
wanted
it?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was a BFL from Aisling, AISLING, and it's lovely. And I knit the Enos pullover in this,
Sort of.
sort of.
I was gonna say,
Sorta.
nuh-uh.
It never follows the pattern.
No, yeah.
So, and
It was a guide.
She's got a creative
it was a
mind.
guide, yes,
Yeah, yeah.
okay. And I really like it, and it's really warm too.
Wow.
So what did you keep? Just that center panel?
Yeah, because the sleeves don't.
Yes,
the
because
same.
there was a shoulder I wanted to try on a different pattern, which I didn't bring with me, so I don't remember what. Okay, so I was talking about for the Idis pattern, I was trying a shoulder from a different pattern, not quite set in, not quite raglan, but still done seamlessly, and I just wanted to try that shoulder, and then I basically followed the rest of the pattern, kind
Wow.
of adjusting a few stitch things. And I didn't do the full cable on the back, I just did part of it.
So pretty.
So, and you've seen this as a work in progress.
I love that.
So the basic pattern is from Mary Annarella's Push My Buttons, but the idea, I have to give credit to Naturally Twisted's Boxy by Joe Locatelli, but this person did this design, which I loved. So I found similar colors, and that's it.
Oh my gosh.
And I did a little cable down the side seams.
The thing is, Allison, is you have all of your leftover yarn from that in a box just over there.
Right.
And I knew this is it. And looking at the yarn in the box, it's like, huh, all that in one sweater? And when I see that, I'm like, that is gorgeous. I just,
Well,
I don't have that eye.
I don't either, which is why I depend on you lovely people posting your ideas like this.
Oh my god.
Okay, that's my FOs.
cool.
So now what?
So I may take that yarn now. Oh. Okay, I'll stop oogling over
So what
her
do you want to
sweater.
talk about next? Do you want to talk about whips or?
Sure, 'cause that
I
should
don't
go
have a
fast. Okay, she's done.
I only have one whip, and it is another one of these hats.
Okay.
So same yarn, just in cream color.
All right. How about you?
I'm still working on Leftover City. I'm probably halfway, a little over halfway. And then still working on, because I haven't been working on it, I've been working on that. And
Oh,
it's
Terry
the-
is. You did have it with
I
you.
have it with me, yes.
Oh, now let me show this off.
Okay.
In the sparkly pink fingering weight.
This, I hope it shows up. It's just delightful.
And I also have this yarn in a royal blue. So it's similar to one of the shades in yours that I'm gonna do after I finish this one.
So I told you I don't have a whip, which is true. And yesterday we were going somewhere, driving the car. It's going to take 25 minutes each way, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't have anything to knit in the car. I can't go. So I started a tension swatch on something that I don't even know what I'm going to use it for. But
That's why you
That's
need
funny.
to know how to knit, or not know, but have socks
Yes.
somewhere, or one of these
One of
muscle
those
birds.
hats. Yes.
Yeah,
that's true.
because that's what when I was going through yarn in December, it's like, what am I going to use this for? This was Heidi and Lana. It's like a chocolate sprinkle, I think was
I
the
really
name of
like that color.
It's her seed fingerling. Yeah, chocolate sprinkle. She did a little
Margaret.
donut.
Margaret,
donut
I want
thing.
some.
And I
And this is the muscle burrow, you said, right?
yeah, and that's in fingering. And
Whereas Darcy's was in worsted, so you can kind of tell that difference.
so I'm thinking about putting a pom-pom on this because they've got some really bright colors. And like I said, my coat's yellow and I also have a navy coat, but
I mean,
really,
she won't be able to turn it inside out.
Okay.
yeah. So I don't know if I want to get like an obnoxious purple pom-pom
No,
or
a hot pink.
hot pink. Yeah, something
hot
that's
pink.
so not me to go on the top of this.
I think I
But-
have a hot pink one that you can
I
have.
say if you don't, I think
buy
I
that
do.
off of you. So I've been working on that. And then I also, I had bought this DK yarn for something else, and it's Kingston Tweed, Vibra. It's, I think Universal is where it came from, Universal Yarns. It's a DK weight, but man, it felt small. But I'm doing the Birch Pullover by Andrea Mowry. It's the first time I've ever tried a half fisherman's
Fisherman's rib.
knit, cable, rib, whatever
Rib.
it is.
Rib.
So,
It looks so squishy.
It's kind of a more complicated knit one below type thing.
So when you drop a stitch, you pray that it's on the purl stitch, not on the knit stitch. And it's always on the knit stitch. And it's like, I think I figured out how to fix it, but I'm like, my stomach turns, I hold my breath.
But that's why this
That's
one's
how I
for
feel
yours.
all the time when I drop a stitch or make a mistake.
And
It's
when
like,
I drop it, I'm like, oh well, design element, just tack it in there.
And then doing short ribs in this was
Short
just like
rows, I think.
short
Not-
rows. Short ribs, I'm
Thing's
hungry.
got her all over the
It
place.
does. So that's been kind of fun to work on because I was
Where did you get that yarn?
it's either Knit Picks or Webs. I can't remember. But I picked it up to do something else and then changed my mind.
Wait a minute, does Knit Pick sell yarn that isn't theirs?
Yes, they do now. They have other things that aren't.
So it might have been webs then if it's universal.
Okay, didn't know.
So I kind of
But yeah, I don't know that they have.
feel like I'm cheating on these guys a little. 'Cause
Why?
Last night,
Uh-oh.
We may have to stop filming for a moment so
That's
that
why
Jen
I'm
can
announcing
receive
this
her
To stop the
bleeding.
blood.
so I started the cast on of the jewel.
Oh.
Yes. So this
The color
was
is
the
awesome.
yarn that I got from.
Wait, why were we supposed to do the
Well,
jewel?
we all talked about doing
Oh.
it, and I'm like, I don't know if.
And we debated whether this was going to be the New Year's
No, not
cast.
Well, I think
Yeah.
I ended up saying I wasn't going to do it because I was going to do Bellicor.
Yeah, which I,
So-
I almost did that one too.
This is the jewel, and it's done by Whitney Terrell. And on the Ravelry page, it's done in this bright orange, which is
So-
pretty yucky and
Right.
off-putting.
But we saw
But we
it.
saw it in other
So
colors.
the dyer of Fiber Seed
Yes,
was
that's who it was.
wearing this sweater in a completely neutral beigey pinks.
Yes.
It was gorgeous. So then when we
Yes.
looked up the pattern and saw it was in this hideous,
We would have never.
Yeah.
like
So-
Hunter's orange.
And the thing is, there's only like 8 projects.
yeah.
Which is amazing because it's a
it's an
it's a
amazing
beautiful sweater.
And you can see this is one of the rows of the...
Really fun.
So how is that little
Okay.
section here? That looks like
So-
a lot of yarn in
Yes.
those little.
So
There it is. Right.
it was. So you like, I don't think I can say a whole lot because I think
give it
that's why
away.
it's the paid pattern.
Yeah.
But yes, at first I'm like, what in the world am I doing? And then, okay, that feeling you get when you drop a stitch,
Yes.
you have to drop some. And they're
What?
just. I know. I'm like, it's not supposed. Pop, pop. Oh, pop. Oh, is it supposed to go in there? Okay. It's just you have to trust the pattern. And then
So your drop stitches.
and then you like pull stuff through. It's
Oh,
Dave went to bed and
so like
I'm like, oh.
My mermaid tail blanket that I
Yeah.
made had a very similar thing where I had to like do a bunch of yarn overs or something and then
Okay.
drop them and then weave something through it to pick them up and gather them and put them all back on. It was, and I recall in the beginning it was scary.
But I was a little like confused when I picked my size. It said that I needed 1,000 yards of the main color, but it's in like goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on. So it goes sizes A through C, 500 yards, sizes D through G, 750 yards, and then it goes sizes F through H, 1,000 yards. I'm like, I know my alphabet, and F should be up in that. So I'm like panicking that I don't have enough of this because I only have 800, and if my size is in there, I'm fine, 750. So what I thought I would do, because I have more than enough of my 80s radio.
So we don't know if this is just a typo in the pattern.
Yeah, so I figured if I end up having enough, and I don't like that I've done a contrasting ribbing, because I thought, well, I'll do the sleeves
cuffs.
and the bottom and this, because there's plenty. I could always pull this out and go back and reinvent that.
Yeah.
So, but this is the yarn, and I also got a little ticked off. I was gonna say peeved.
Perturbed?
Yeah, perturbed.
It's not rated for children, so you're okay.
This was actually the Kool-Aid dyed yarn by the lady in Young's that you
yeah.
bought the book off of.
Yes, yes.
I never heard
Checkered
of it.
flag fibers. And so when I put it on my Swift and I knit or cut the little ties,
Yeah.
they were really tight. So the dye didn't absorb where the ties were. So there were these big sections of like this fleshy color versus this bluish color.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, oh,
So it's
how
almost
is
like
this gonna be? So then
But
I'm
it
like,
looks
okay, I'm
perfect
gonna
it
have
looks
to.
really cool with this.
It actually works out really well.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I'm so pleased with it. So it's like, so I'm really happy with how it's turning out. My numbers aren't working out. It said to cast on and increase, and I got the increase, but then on this other one, I went from 150 stitches, and I was supposed to increase to end up at 220.
Have you looked in the project notes to see if anyone's actually
maybe this
asked the question?
Yeah.
And you
So
should also
it's-
email the designer and she offers it.
It's like the Elizabeth Zimmerman yoke sweaters, where you do a whole lot of increases every so
Yeah.
many rows. So you might check it against
Yeah.
Elizabeth Zimmerman pattern and see if it's a similar row
What I did read on some of the projects, the project pages that they had, because there was only 8, that they didn't like the way she described the short rows. So I just did a wrap and turn.
Okay.
Because that's what a lot of people said. They just did their preferred method of short rows. And I felt very much Allison-y on that. I'm like, I'm just going to do my own thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, can I do this? Can I do this? Really? Really? It's not in the pattern. So I channeled you when I was dropping stitches. Like, is this what Crystal feels?
How do you do that? Like when it says insert your own preferred method,
Yeah.
how do you keep the stitch counts correct? Like how do you not mess it up? Are they all like pretty
Yeah, because
Well,
pretty like
when you do that German one, you just have to realize that you're going to go 1 extra stitch.
right?
Before
Which
you.
I don't think
Yeah.
I did the go 1 extra stitch thing. I think
doesn't
I think
matter.
when I was
Yeah.
first doing the first attempt at German short rows was turtle dove, and I
Yes.
think when I got to it, I just kind of went
So
and hoped for the best because I don't know what was happening.
There is a Craftsy program on like 7 different ways to do short rows or something. And I
Okay,
think I
yes.
think it's free, that particular one. I'm not sure.
well, and
So
then
that
Very
might be-
Pink, when her tutorial,
Yes.
she tells you that
Which is what I use
You're
to get
going
her.
Yeah, there's so many free
Go
tutorials and
one
stuff.
more
online.
one more
stitch.
stitch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So that was whips.
Whips.
Now, what have we bought?
Should we save her for last? Because she has a lot.
she's
Well,
gonna
can I
take
go
up all the
first?
Yes.
Oh, I'll make room.
I got a toilet paper holder, and this is inspired by Rinda.
My roommate.
Yes, she posted this, and
You might not see it against your dark sweater. Here.
So there it is. So I brought the little sheepy out. I thought maybe I might keep it in my room with actually yarn balls on it.
Oh, yeah.
And then I had 2 extra. So we've already gone through 2 rolls. But he's so cute. Every morning I go into the bathroom and there he is.
You smile.
Yes. So I just Googled it because I'm leery of clicking on links on Facebook,
Yeah.
like
Right.
where it's,
Yeah.
and I'm only going to see like toilet paper holders for the next 60
800
days.
years. Yeah.
So I just Googled it. It's surprising. Like one was on Wayfair. This one, the first one that popped up was on a Walmart.
Oh.
Yeah. So I ordered it via Walmart. It came from California. It was here within like 3 days and it was
wow.
less than $50.
Oh.
And it's like, okay, I told Dave because I ordered it in the middle of the night. I'm like, impulse buy. So, and then I think we may have talked about this, and I've already balled mine up.
Oh, yes.
But the advent calendar.
So I'm glad you have yours because I didn't bring that one.
Yeah, so this is from Heidi and Lana, and I have this thinking I was going to make.
So what are the little tags that you have?
I wanted to know the names and the numbers because
Your lovely
it
colors.
appeared that it was a solid, a speckle, a solid,
Yes,
a
it
speckle.
was. Yeah.
So I didn't want to lose that, and I would never be able to put them back in order again.
Day 1, day 2.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because these didn't come in bags, so
Yeah.
I just number 20 Prancer. So I just stuck little tags in
Okay.
there. So this is black
So
and white
I was gonna
copy.
say, what are you gonna make with yours?
My original thought was a sweater, and it's got the poofy sleeves, and it's like really fun, but it's called Color Play. And
Oh yeah, I think a lot of people were doing that.
yeah, so I picked up a gray,
that's pretty.
a gray mohair to do this with. But then now there's this Sassenach sheep G's. I don't know how to pronounce it. The pillow pattern that everybody's doing. Around the table is a local yarn shop for us, and they're doing a knit along. And I'm like, I could do my pillow and these and really use them all. I don't need another sweater. So I'm on the fence of using this to make the pillow or the sweater. I don't know because the sweater's like not me, which I think is fun. She's up. We have food on the counter and our cat's thinking we're not paying attention. Get her, get her. So I haven't decided if this is going to become Color Play or if this is going to become the Sassenach. And I think it's called Team Free Spirit because there's like 3 different teams of colors for the pillow knit along, which starts in February, I think. So I have time. And I didn't want to buy yarn. Even though people speak so highly of this, and I may be pronouncing it right, but it's sheep with G-E-S at the end, sheep G's. And they speak so highly of that yarn. I'm gonna have to try it. I guess Around the Table carries it.
So we might have to do a road trip.
Yeah, so I think, and then This is probably a stitch marker that
cute.
everybody has. I think Tina at Twisted
Little
Fiber.
balls of skeins of
Yeah,
yarn.
so my best friend Julie for Christmas bought me earrings from Etsy. So
Cute.
credit to Etsy. Yeah, so I wore my little earrings today. So that's my acquisitions.
What do you have, Allison?
Oh, sorry. My turn. My son actually surprised me at Christmas
Wow.
with 2 skeins of this lovely yarn. It's a hand-dyed tweed. It's fingering weight. It is from Up North Yarns because he was in Michigan when he bought it.
Ah.
Isn't that lovely? I just have no clue what I'm going to do with 2 skeins.
Well, we'll have to go get more. So another road trip to go get
Yes.
more.
That's
Or you
pretty
can make
far.
one of these hats.
Yeah, but it's really lovely looking stuff. And
It is.
that's all I have. I'm actually trying to unstash. Can I talk about our upcoming event? So, okay, we're going to Sauter Village in February, and they have a yarn swap kind
Fiber
of thing.
Arts Retreat.
Fiber Arts Retreat, which unfortunately is sold out.
Yeah.
But if you're going, look for my table where I'm
Allison's
gonna.
bringing all the yarn
If
to
it
swap.
makes it out of my house.
So I am
Or out of my
destashing
hand.
for free or minimal donations to Sauter. And yeah, so that when we go exciting places, then I don't feel
Like you
guilty
can't get stuff.
buying yarn.
I don't ever feel guilty about buying yarn.
Good thing.
Which now is a great segue into...
No, Crystal
No.
can go first.
So when we were at Harps and Thistles, I found this Surdar,
yeah.
Surdar, yeah.
jewel spun yarn.
I got one
And
too.
I got
didn't
3
bring
of
it.
those because I thought I was going to
It's
make.
it's an English brand if you're not familiar with it.
I thought I
The
was going to
colors
make
are so cool.
Homebody by Heidi Kiermaier, and it still may happen. I mean, with that, but maybe not
I don't
with that
know.
yarn.
The other pattern you
Yeah.
found, I really think that's what I'm going to do with
But-
mine.
I think so.
I get emails from Expression Fiber Arts, and Shandy just has some beautiful patterns, and every Friday she has a free one. And there's this one, and I'll give you the other picture to show.
Yeah.
And this
I think
just
that should be it.
absolutely caught my eye, and I thought, well, I bet I could do that with those balls of yarn. I should
And that's what it
You
looks
did.
like on the back.
And it's gonna kind of stripe itself, I think. But even
Yeah.
if it didn't, I don't think that I care.
Little
I like
puffy
the
sleeve.
shape of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not necessarily the stripes. I like the shape of it. So I think that's what's gonna happen with that ball of yarn. And then Harps and Thistle. She had what was it, 12 days of Christmas every
Uh-huh.
day. She had something different that you could
sale, yeah.
for sale that you could purchase. And then on the last day of it, you could buy anything that was left from the previous days. And I had withstood temptation when I saw this one.
I really want
And
that. That might not make it home with Crystal.
yes, it
Fairy
will.
Bubbles, I think is the name
Fairy
of it.
Bubbles.
Fairy bubbles.
And so you got the skein of yarn, and then there was a needle
Size.
sizer thing from.
I have lost, for some reason, I've lost my
I just got a bunch
sizers.
of them, I think.
Oh, that's a really cute one. I
Yes.
have to
So
get one of
I
those.
ordered that and then went to pick it up, and I was really good when I went to pick it up because I did not buy another skein of yarn.
And it even has a ruler from when we do swatches.
Yes, it does.
does?
Isn't that awesome?
I don't know what the heck a swatch is.
We swatch for fun over here.
I've been pretty good about not buying a lot of extra yarn, so that's it.
There you go.
Got some time.
Grab yourself a cup of coffee, pause it right here for just
Yeah.
a second, and then come right back.
So, when we went to Harps and Thistle, I got the red yarn that as I was knitting it, I fell in love with that yarn, and so then promptly placed another order
That's Blue Sky.
for Blue Sky Fibers. Yeah, so it's 100% wool, and it's the wool stock, so it's worsted. So I got 3 skeins of the green.
And these are 50 gram
Gram
skeins,
skeins.
not 100 grams,
Yes.
which is typical.
This is what Dave
So-
wants his vest in.
so
Yeah.
that's
Color
why
right
she
there.
needed 3 of them for
Right.
the hat.
So that colorway is Wild Time. So then I also got 3 skeins of it in Midnight Sea,
Do you want me to show these?
if you want.
Pretty.
And I also got it in
Oh, you also got another color?
3 skeins.
I'm not sure you're
of
gonna see the
whatever
color.
their cream color is. And this is for an order. So, I don't want to get
On
through.
Peacocks and Pearls.
Peacocks and pearls.
Peacocks and pearls. So that. And then for Christmas, my sister sent me this cute little book.
Oh.
And it was such a cute little read. And so I'm going to add it to my yarn type book collection.
Oh, that's cute.
And then I also got the Heidi and Lana
Advent calendar.
Advent calendar.
The buildings are made of stitches.
It's about a little girl and she knits for the whole town and how the town just survives because she knits. So I also got Chelsea Yarns is
my gosh.
Advent calendar.
All right.
So I put it on a string,
Good idea.
which I also did with the other ones. You can see that's the starts at the first day, and then it comes down to this is the final skein for the last day. And this colorway is Adventure. So I like the colors all together. I have no idea what to do with it.
Make a pillow.
So I was thinking I would just leave it on here and make it wall art.
Absolutely.
You could do that. Bring it close.
So I
Or
did
you can
this.
wear it as a necklace.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know what to do with it. It's my first time having an Advent calendar, yarn Advent.
So you did sign up for?
So I signed up for a monthly yarn subscription from Fangirl
Just a little darker.
Fangirl Yarns.
Yeah. Oh.
It's the Star Wars edition, so I have no idea what it's gonna look like, but I did order that, so that's coming. And then I got a Christmas bonus, and with my bonus, I ordered new knitting needles.
Nice.
So I needed the interchangeable, so I got two interchangeable sets, and I think I'm gonna get the little blue one
May
too.
West.
So the black is Chaigu. What's the other one?
Same
Chaigu
company.
as well.
They're both Chaigu.
It's the shorties.
So
I was also thinking you and I have signed up for that design a sweater online class.
Claire from Sister Mountain Sister Mountain
Yeah,
something.
Sister Mountain.
So she is who I consulted with when I created my first pattern that's on Ravelry. And then she's having an online Zoom live meeting on designing your first sweater pattern. So Allison and I signed up to watch that class.
But you might want to go into sistermountain.com and
It's
she
free.
has a free blog there with some nice technical tips and maybe sign up for her class, which
Yeah.
is also free.
So that's all I got. That wasn't much. More yarn is on its way, and I also got one of these that I forgot to bring. And
But yours is more of your neutrals, right?
mine is more mustards and blues and bright pinks.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's all I got. So that's it. So to take to solder, I'm gonna take one of these to knit on. I may cast on the Bellacore since I got that when we were in Pittsburgh and I just never started it. Other
And
than
I
that-
have to figure out what to cast on for Pittsburgh.
Yes, you do.
Before then, actually.
Yeah.
Before- otherwise, I'll go crazy.
Because we need
Yeah.
car knitting,
Yeah.
hotel room knitting,
Right.
social knitting.
Knitting with wine, knitting.
Yes.
Yes, so we need to make sure there's room in the trunk for all the things. Who's got the biggest trunk and can hold all the stuff?
I think it's between the two of us, but I think
Unless you want me to bring a van.
that's true.
Oh, that's true. We thought about that last time too. Yeah. But yeah, so that's all I
Party
got.
van.
Okay.
All right. Don't think we have anything else.
Other than solder.
Yeah, and we plan on podcasting while we're at solder, so we should be back up again mid-February, because that is the weekend of the
It's the 11th.
11th.
And we keep saying Sauder. It's Sauder Historic Village.
Yeah.
And Conference
Northwest
Center or
Ohio.
something.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, their Fiber Festival or retreat is full, so I'm sorry if you aren't going. Oh, but the same weekend, which is the
Wild.
the
Oh, Wild and
12th,
Woolly.
yeah, February
Yes,
12th,
right.
Wild and Woolly is at the Berea Ferret Grounds if you are in the Cleveland area. And we went to that last year,
Last year.
and despite the pandemic, there were a fair number of vendors, so there should be even more, I think.
Yeah.
I think she said she has
She
like
says she
24,
has
25.
more, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure masks are required, but
Yeah.
it was pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're not going to solder, you better go there.